Hello, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Contemplation. It's going to be a new daily reflection series brought to you by Spotlight Recovery, where every morning we're going to read. This year, we're actually going to go through the AA Daily Reflections. So today, we're reading January 1st, the first day of the year. So feel free to read and follow along, and let's get into it. So cute. I am a miracle. The central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty that our Creator has entered into our hearts and lives in a way which is indeed miraculous. He has commenced to accomplish these things for us which we could never do by ourselves. Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, page 25. This truly is a fact in my life today, and a real miracle. I always believed in God, but could never put that belief meaningfully into my life. Today, because of Alcoholics Anonymous, I now trust and rely on God as I understand Him. I am sober today because of that. Learning to trust and rely on God was something I could never have done alone. I now believe in miracles because I am one. Aw, we're miracles, you guys. Oh, that's so cute. I remember before I came into AA, or any of the other 12-step programs, I had a real issue with God. I had a real grudge. I had a real problem with God. So funny enough, I, like the reading says, too, totally did believe in God beforehand. I was just really resentful because of the way I grew up, so many life experiences I had, how my life had looked at addiction, like what brought me from my addiction to my bottom, then into sobriety. I mean, like I had built all this ammo of things to be resentful about, so I did believe in God. I just hated Him. That was my big thing. And, coming into 12-step, seeing all these other people, all the old timers, the people that had like long-term recovery, the thing that they all shared in common was that they all believed in God, but in a much better version than I did, in a much healthier relationship than I had had. And that was that common thing. And so, if you've gone to 12-step meetings before, you've heard people talk about looking for somebody that has what you want. And all the people that had what I wanted, they all had a better relationship with God. And believe me, that was, like a lot of us, that was the last thing that I wanted to do when I came in, right? Like the last thing I was going to do was to be one of those losers that quit drugs and found God, right? I wasn't going to be that guy. That was the thing for me. And again, seeing all of these people who were happy, who were genuinely laughing, who like, I knew like the smile on their face was real. It wasn't fake. They didn't walk into rooms. They floated into them. They had that real peace of mind. When they'd share in meetings, they'd share about the life that they had had and all these things in it, to which I had none of at that point, like when I first came in, right? And so even with all of that, oh, come on. What's the word? Like I wasn't willing, that lack of willingness. I didn't want to look at the God thing. I didn't want to build a healthy relationship with God, but all of these guys had one. So it seemed like I had to have one. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll give this thing a try. I'll give this thing a shot. And throughout this series and through as I'm talking on the podcast and everything else, we'll get a lot into the God thing because, of course, I understand how triggering it is, that G word. Like it was, again, believe me, it was for me too. Real hard one to get around. But I had used myself into such a state of hopelessness, I had to be willing to do whatever people were suggesting. Like I trigger warning, I got sober after surviving suicide, and I had to do whatever was suggested, whatever people were throwing at me to give it a try, because I couldn't afford anything else. Like that's where I was, right? That gift of desperation people talk about. So I had to. And so that's what a lot of these guys challenged me to do. They're like, just go home, just pray, just try, just talk to God. It doesn't have to be all formal and on your knees, and go to church and all this stuff. because again, like spiritual program, not religious, right? Even though the language doesn't always depict it so well, it's really old. So I was just like, okay, fine, I'll do that. And bit by bit, believe it or not, it started working. And I know it's easy to see me on YouTube and hear this and be like, okay, this guy's full of shit. Like, I have no reason to make that up. Like, I just don't. Like, what am I going to get out of that? Right? But it was true. And just praying, and like, my prayers weren't nice and formal. There was a lot of swearing. I was mad. It was really a lot more of like an open discussion with God. I don't know if you've ever read the book I Am Malala, about that girl who was shot in the head by the Taliban and survived. Unbelievable story and book. You absolutely have to read it. But anyway, in it, she says, she just has this line in it, and she just says, I talk to my God all the time. And she talks about her relationship with God as just like an open conversation. And that's kind of what I've come to find and build my relationship as. I look at it like a phone line that's always open. You know, like you have an iPhone and you have like the FaceTime thing and there's just a join button. Like, the call's already there. It's already happening. You can take part whenever you want. It's always there and ready and available to you. And so that's what I've developed my relationship to be. And that's really kind of how it started off. I just didn't even realize it at the time. So anyway, I hope I haven't gone on like a massive tangent here. But just back with this reading and the reflection, what it talks about, you know, yeah, I'd always had that belief in God, but it was really a lot more negative, and then a lot of resentment, and then that became a really big shift for me. Then when I came into recovery, seeing all of these people who had built a life that I wanted, and that was the big common thing, was having that faith. And like, not even everybody used the God word or believed in like Birkenstock Sky Daddy, like it, none of that. Like it, some people, you know, even just like you've heard the words, right? The universe, that inexplicable connection that we all have, or even just how like, or connection to all living things. You know, how you can walk into a meeting, not know so many people who are there, never met them before, and yet you're speaking the same language and you just immediately understand each other. Like, how is that not God? You know? So, again, with the thing where it says, as I understand him, as we understood God, really remove gender, just seeing that common thing in all these people's lives who had that peace and had what I wanted. I had to give it a shot. I did, and it clearly worked. So I get it. I get the frustration, but you know, as was passed down to me from those guys, highly recommend giving it a shot. So anyway, there we go. That is what stands out for me in that reflection today. Please throw down in the comments what stands out for you in that reflection. What's helped you with the God thing? Like, when you heard and read that reflection today, what came up for you? You know, your share down there could really help somebody else. And it just, that community input is so great, right? So please check out in the comments and then throw down what popped out for you in that reflection today. And thank you for engaging in the channel and checking this video out. Please take a look at the channel and subscribe. We offer other recovery coaching videos. We're getting a podcast launched soon. We've already got a demo app and some other clips there. Check it out. There's a lot you're going to be able to find. Like I said at the beginning, my name's Lucas, and I do private practice recovery coaching. I currently have slots available, so if you're interested, check out all the info's in the description. Just send me an email, lucas@spotlightrecovery.com. Be happy to talk to you and see if there's a way that I can help support you in your recovery. And if you like the channel and just the concept of what else we're trying to do here, please consider joining the channel, like through Patreon, donating to support it, becoming a member, and just check out our website, spotlightrecovery.com. There's a lot of resources here, and we all just want to put out as much as possible to make recovery as accessible as possible for people who need it. So that's the vision. There's our first episode. Thanks again for joining us. Check out that description. Please remember to like and subscribe. Share with folks if you feel it resonated with you. And we'll see you again tomorrow morning. Thanks and enjoy your day.